Today's our topic is sustainable development. Sustainable development with equity. Sustainable development with equity. Yeah, what is the meaning of sustainable development? Sustainable development is a word. Recent days, this word mostly we are hearing. The meaning of this word is without damaging environment. Without damaging environment, development is needed. I repeat, without damaging of environment, development is needed. So that this is called as sustainability, sustainable development with equity. With equity. The entire lesson says that without damaging environment, we need development. Okay? Let us enter into the topic. From first topic 2 till now, this lesson is interlinked with every topic. You see, you take consider Human Development Index. Human Development Index. Human Development Index, it is an important index which can show growth, actual growth of the population or actual growth of the country. GDP, gross domestic product, per capita income, these all are per capita income. Per capita income. Okay, these all are the certain measures for the development. Human Development Index is individual, at the same time state, countries development, we can see. Development, HDI, Human Development Index is, as you know, we discussed in our previous sessions, it is very broad. Okay, next GDP, gross domestic product, the output of the country. Next per capita income, same, these both are interlinked, these three are interlinked. Okay. HDI is an important aspect which can be calculate education, health and other aspects also. GDP per capita income, they do not calculate the social indicators. I repeat, GDP per capita income, they do not calculate social indicators like education, health, birth rate, death rate, literacy rate, life expectancy, isn't it? Why we all are discussing? Because development is going on. That is, in the numbers, the ranking of the HDI ranking of the GDP or the income of the per capita income, we can say that yes, India per capita income daily raising. GDP is also raising. Human Development Index, India's ranking also improving. But one of the important factor is why these are improving. Why these all are improving? Why GDP? How GDP is increasing? Because GDP increasing because of the environment. Because of environment. Yeah, what is the link of environment? What is the link of environment and GDP? Because majority of the products we got from primary sector. From primary sector onwards, many of the many of the products were transformed into different stages. Okay, next, per capita income. From where this per capita income we got? Per capita income we got from mostly on the natures. Example, coal. We transformed the coal into thermal electricity, fossil fuels, petroleum, natural gas. Everything is depends upon nature. Means we are completely destroying the nature. And we are improving ourselves. That means GDP and per capita is improving. That you have to understand. Next, one more example. You see, 90% of the workforce in India. 90% of the workforce in India, mostly they are less waged or they are less paid, or we can say that more than 90% unorganized. Yeah, I many times said that India is improving, GDP is increasing, per capita income is increasing, Human Development Index ranking also increasing, but why not this workforce is not decreasing? Because there is certain imbalances among the haves and not haves. There are certain disparities are there among the poor and the rich. These people are mostly work with less income. Majority of the population, two-thirds of the population in India, they are less paid. How I can say? It is given in our graph. graph number 1 in our sustainable development lesson. Graph number 1, this shows that billionaires data have been shown that the data are given that from 1996, 2004 and 2011. From this data you see there was considerable growth. There was huge growth in between this year among the billionaires. How a person can become a billionaire? He must set up business. He must set up industry. Where the product is coming from to the industrialist from the nature. So he is taking the product from the nature and damaging the environment, and he is becoming billionaire. But there is no use of this workforce. There is no use of the workforce because these people are completely damaging the environment. These people are benefiting and there was no benefit to the other people. That we have to understand. Another example in graph number in graph number 1. Sorry, it is graph number 2 there was given. In the graph number 1. In the graph number 1, they have mentioned about the rich. In India, as per whatever the information they gave in the graph 1, there are only 3 million people. There are only 3 million people are very rich. Okay. Next, middle class, 31 million. 31 million, these are middle class and aspirers. These aspirers are 71 millions. 71 millions aspirer. Next, deprived. These people are deprived. Who are deprived? Okay, deprived people were majority. These people were approximately 135 millions. 135 millions. That means we understand that these rich people taking advantages from the natural resources and they are becoming day by day very rich. It is showing in the graph number 1 in our textbook, and in graph number 2 there is a considerable increasing of the billionaires day by day. Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani, Ajim Premji, there are so many millionaires are there. They are the industrialists. That we have to understand, because these persons they became billionaire, these persons they became rich, utilizing the resources of the country, utilizing the natural resources of the country. Okay, they are becoming billionaire, but remaining people, majority people were deprived. There is no use for the deprived for these natural resources. Do they own the natural resources? Not, isn't it? Yeah. There was one criticism also there. Economists they criticize. They criticize that GDP raising because neglecting of environment. GDP raising. Yeah, GDP raising. Why GDP is raising? Because we are neglecting environment. Whenever we are completely neglecting, our environment, it is completely damaging. Those people are taking advantages on the environment and they are making products. Due to that products, our GDP is raising, income is raising. That some of the economists they criticize. Okay. So what will happen, sir? If they neglect environment, what will happen? If they neglect that environment, it may come into the question. It may come into the examination, that you understand that if we neglect the environment, what will be happen? First one is deforestation. Climate change, pollution, soil erosion, etc. Groundwater depleted. That means we can also write that lowering of groundwater. Yeah, lowering of groundwater and effluents from the factories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are so many are there. Effluents from the factories. Fossil fuels will be decreased. Fossil fuels decreases. Okay, decreases. Yeah. Fossil fuels means petroleum, natural gas. Petroleum, natural gas will be decreases due to neglecting of the environment. These are the problems we may face in now also we are facing. But in upcoming days, it may be leads to heavy, more problems we may face. Next step. Yeah, our economy depends upon nature. I agree with this. You have to also agree in this statement. Economy is completely depend upon the nature, especially primary sector. Just I told to you. Okay. Next step. Whenever we neglect environment, whenever we neglect natural resources, there will be a miscalculation between the environment and the earth. That is sink function. Yeah, let us understand what is sink function. What is sink function? Sink function means just simply ability to observe and render harmless waste and pollution. Because sink function. Now earth is able to observe all of the wastage and is giving harmless to us. If we increase plastic bags, all plastic things, the sink function can be damaged. So earth can be absorb some extent of the pollutants, but not everything. Not excessive pollutants earth cannot absorb. That is the sink function. If we neglect environment, sink function will be damaged. Sink function means the ability to absorb and render harmless wastage and pollution. It will be absorb some extent of the pollution, some extent of the plastic bags, some extent of the effluents which are discharging by the industries. But more and more effluents we are completely pouring on the earth. Earth cannot act as a good sink function. Though so sink function may damage. So that you understand that sink function need to be very active. Okay. Whatever the wastage is there, the wastage that need to be reduced ourselves. The limit, there should be a limit for the wastage. If the more damages, more wastage will come. It cannot absorb and it will be damaged most, and the entire environment will be degraded. That will be leads for the environmental problems. I repeat, environmental problems. In our text, they are also given about that. An example we can see is about one motor body. That was in the picture was took from Rajasthan. The motor body picture was took from Rajasthan. It was collected by United Nations Organization during 1957. Motor body, it is a traditional practice of irrigating. The traditional practice of irrigating the land. Those days in 1957, 1960s, much of the agricultural land depends upon rain. Very less percent of the area under irrigated, especially on the wells. So after so many years after this traditional practicing of providing water from the well, traditional practicing providing irrigation to the agricultural fields, that was damaged. Those days there are common wells Common wells approximately there may be 25 to 50 feet somewhere 100 feet depth will be there. Whenever the electricity, diesel, these all came, slowly, they put pump sets and they are extracted the water from the earth. Nowadays, tube wells or bore wells. These bore wells are 500 to 700 meters of the depth, feet of the depth. They are extracting much of the water, and one of third of the water is they are pumping out, and that was not recharging. The aquifer need to be recharged. We are pumping out much of the water from the underground. That was a serious threat nowadays. Groundwater is under serious threat. I repeat, groundwater is now under serious threat. That we also done the same topic, water and Indian rivers and water resources. Okay. Example, in our India, those days motor body was there. After that, they depends upon the wells. Thereafter, pump sets, diesel engines, petrol engines, and now electricity engines and tube wells. So due to that, the motor body, the traditional practicing method was gone, extended. Next step. Nowadays, each and every person is extracting water but not concentrating on the recharging of groundwater. Okay. Next step. So due to this, the water table considerably lowering and water table was gone down. Due to this, 300 district, about 300 district, about 300 districts in India, about 300 districts of India, especially in UP and Punjab, Western UP and Punjab, most of the water got to down level, okay, because overusing of the groundwater. Moreover, groundwater quality of groundwater, quality of groundwater also decreased due to the effluents, the toxic substances, factories. You know the Ganga River is mostly polluted river in India because many of the industries were there. Due to that industries, this Ganga River became polluted, and due to this, most of the factories are discharging their effluents into the river, tank, pond and underground. So due to that, certain percentage of the water, example 59 of districts in India, 59% of India, the water, underground water is unable to use. The water is waste, not safe. Water is 59%. 59% of the districts in India, water is not to use. So these kind of the things you may write in your comment, opinion. Okay. So because of that we have to learn, and the fact also we have to learn. So these are the things who are going on in our surroundings. So many environmentalists, scientists, they are saying that a new concept, that is sustainable development. No, we have to stop these things. So what we have to adopt? We have to adopt sustainable development. Subsidiary things we have to go for the subsidiary thing. What is sustainable development? Just I said, without damaging environment, development. Without damaging environment, we need development. That means development that meets the needs of the present, and without compromising of future generations, without compromising the ability of the future, future. Simple. The development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations. Example, petroleum. Petroleum may be available for more than 50-60 years. After that, there was no petroleum. Entire petroleum we are taking out. Then there will be no pipes and nothing at all. Okay, technology is coming, new technology, electric car, solar car, wind car, these are coming. But the future generations also need to be used in a judicious manner. The sustainable development also. This is the meaning of the sustainable development. It may ask in examination. Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation. So we have to utilize the resources properly, and we have to give to our next generation, our kids, okay, our grandsons. We have to save certain things. If you are only utilizing all, then what they will utilize? Okay. Then we can say that better quality of life. It can be called as better quality of life for everyone. Everyone means what? Now and for the next generation. Yeah, so we need to adopt a subsidiary things. We need to adopt sustainable development. What the sustainable development indicating us? Better quality of life. We need to live better quality, good standard of life for everyone. Everyone have to enjoy their life properly without damaging environment. This generation and upcoming generation, whatever the generation will come in the future, those people and we both need to be living in a comfortable environment. We have to use properly the resources of the country. Coal mines. If we utilize much of the coal fossil fuels, then what the next generation will use? Okay, next example, forest. Day by day cultivation is increasing, the forest is decreasing. That you know that due to the decreasing of the forest, cheetah, it was extincted, pink-headed duck, it was extincted, hornbill, it was extincted, and recently one more species also extincted. There are so many trees were extincted, so many birds were extincted. In upcoming generation, they might have seen that elephant, tiger, rabbit, these all will be in their books, pictures, not in the zoo. Zoo also, many of the animals will die, and these people also will see only in the YouTube channel, or they will see able to see only in their textbooks. Okay, so that we have to adopt the sustainable development ideology. Current resources may not available for the next generation. Just we discussed it. Current resources were not available for the next generation. Current animals will be not available for the next generation. Thermal power will be not available. Petroleum will be not available. How they can survive? It's impossible. Okay? So that's what this idea was coming in this 20th century and 21st century. Let us take one example. Let us take one example related to pesticide. Impact of pesticide. Impact of pesticides. Yeah, I'll tell you. Impact of pesticide. There were much problematic is there. Lot of problems we are facing due to these pesticides. So what was happened? Yeah, in 1962, right? 1962, Rachel Carson. She wrote a book. She wrote a book. Book name is Silent Spring. Very, very important. She wrote a book which is called as Silent Spring. Rachel Carson. S-O-N, Carson. That is indicating that most of the members they are spraying DDT for mosquito controlling. We are spraying DDT pesticide for the controlling of the mosquito. But what happened, in recent days, mosquitoes also gained their resistant power to this DDT. Moreover, whenever we sprayed this DDT, it was contaminated in environment, in the water, in the air, in the earth. So due to that, whenever it was contaminated into the water, this was most of the fish communities. Fish were eaten, and fish those who are living in the water, they died. And most of the fish community in different species became extinct due to this mosquito. So that nowadays, this using of this DDT also controlled by many of the governments. Another example, in 1976, endosulfan. Endosulfan, it is a chemical pesticide. It was used for the cashew crop. Okay, it was used in cashew crop in Kasaragod, Kerala. It was used for 15,000 acres. For 15,000 acres of the cashew crop, it was used in the Kasaragod. But due to this Kasaragod, there was completely lot of changes took place in the environment. Okay, people are suffering with such certain diseases, and few of the people were died due to this spraying of this endosulfan. You might have known that whenever the people were not taking proper safety measures, whenever they are spraying pesticides, some of the people they may die. Okay, some of the people they lost their lives due to this endosulfan. Finally, the Kerala people they understand about the dangerous contents about the endosulfan. Finally, court also banned. Court also banned this endosulfan. So due to that, nowadays, Kasaragod in Kerala, they are using a different kind of pesticides, and they are not using mostly chemical pesticides which are very harmful to us. If the spray, whatever we are eating now, these all are pest control. These all are the pest food. If that will eat, our liver may damage, our kidneys may damage, heart problems will become, white is in the early age, and there is no proper growth will be there in the bodies. There are so many problems are there for this using of the chemical pesticides. Next one. Pesticides in modern agriculture, it became very important. They are playing very vital role in our present agriculture system. But we have to be regenerate the ideas, and we have to mobilize the people to do not use these kind of the pesticide chemicals which are very harmful to us, and entire much of the population may be disappear in upcoming days. Okay, so we have to be encourage the people, we have to encourage the farmers to go to adopt organic farming. Next, 1% of the pest, actually whatever we spray, 1% of the pest is acting as a pest. We spray only 1% of the pest is acting as a pest. Remaining everything will be contaminated food, water and environment. Completely they come into our system, water, food and environment. Okay, so that was a very serious threat. Next, people's right to live in environment. Let us see what is the people's right. I want to explain about the Narmada Valley project. Narmada Valley project. Narmada Valley project. Under the Narmada Valley project scheme, a number of dams were constructed. So whenever the dams were constructed, due to this dam, there were forests were submerged. Agricultural area 37,000 hectares of forest land and agricultural land and pasture land was submerged into the water. Under this Narmada Valley project, Sardar Sarovar Dam was constructed. Due to the Sardar Sarovar Dam, 37,000 hectares of the land submerged into the water. Not only that, many very great species of the plants, animals were died, they were displaced. Not only that, tribal people also displaced. Tribal people were displaced. Most of the agricultural land was submerged, pasture land was submerged. There a serious problem was faced. The people, those who are Bawa Mahilya of Madhya Pradesh. Bawa Mahilya of these are Madhya Pradesh, Jawba district. They are from Jawba district. Bawa Mahilya, Jalsindi. Bawa Mahilya, Jalsindi. So I write again. Jalsindi village. So these are in Jawba district of Madhya Pradesh. Whenever government planned to construct a dam, for example, they constructed a dam. Okay, here they planned to construct a dam. So whenever the water was stored into that, so all the land will be submerged. Not only that, wherever this land was there, completely this land will be submerged. People they may lost. Tribal people may be displaced. Why is that tribal people may be displaced? What is the need? You know that tribal people are living in the forest. Tribal people usually they live in forest. Forest is God to them. Tribal people believe that forest is their God because forest they provide vegetables, forest they provide fruits, edible oils, meat, water, everything they provide. Forest only they believe that forest only the money lenders, forest only the farmers, forest only the everything for the tribal. For example, tribal people are living in this area. This here they constructed a dam, so which was completely submerged into the water. So these people need to go to the other place, displacement. This is government land. Does the government will provide the land to them? No. They have to purchase this land. Does government provide vegetables every day free? No. Okay. Moreover, whatever the land this was submerged into the Sardar Sarovar Dam, they have their ancestors. Okay. Their ancestors were lived. Their ancestors' memorial things were there. Their goddesses. Their goddesses also were there in these places. They lost their livelihood. So these things, they wrote a letter to CM. That time, Madhya Pradesh CM, Mr. Digvijay Singh. They wrote a letter to Mr. Digvijay Singh. They explained about very great things. Sir, you people are saying that to go us into the plains. Okay. Thus, why not you see the we can develop in the plains? Then why can't you same thing you can construct the dam into the plains? They asked many of the things to the chief minister. You go once line to line, whatever I just explained to you that their god, their ancestors, money, bankers, everything they was completely, they wrote to the chief minister. 3 pages later they have been wrote to the CM Digvijay Singh. Okay children, so this is our lesson, sustainable development. In this lesson we have done that HDI, GDP, per capita income, these are we are extracting from the environment. Okay. Next, rich people are raising day by day, increasing day by day, but poor people are same as it is. They also in the same way. There is no proper changes. Graph number 2, they shows that billionaires day by day increasing, environmental degradation, lot of problems, environmental problems. They may ask you what are the environmental problems we may face. Deforestation, soil erosion, lowering of groundwater, increasing of pollution, decreasing of fossil fuels, next climate change, next chemical pesticides, industrial effluents, that will be damages. Moreover, we also learned that a new concept. That is sustainable development. In this lesson, the entire sustainable development, the meaning is very important. What is sustainable development? Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future. In other words, better quality of life for everyone now for the next generation, or development without damage. Simple, development without damage. And in this lesson, Raquel Carson wrote book that is Silent Spring 1962, explained about the dangerous threat about DDTs, and 1976 endosulfan problem we discussed, and Narmada Valley project we discussed it. Against Narmada Valley project, against Sardar Sarovar Dam, against Gandhi Sagar project, there are so many environmental problems. There are so many environmental movements were started in our country. So these environmental movements were, they wanted to protect the environment, they wanted to safeguard the people, those who are living by these areas. So children, I hope you understand. This is our lesson, sustainable development. Thank you.